We have some breaking news from the NHL. We have a trade between Nashville and Pittsburgh where the Predators have parted ways with yet another former first-round pick. We'll get into all the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant breaking news here from the NHL. We have an NHL trade, this time between Nashville and Pittsburgh. Of course, both teams have not had the start to the season that they wanted. Pittsburgh continues to try to add more young players, try to get faster, more skilled, get more youth in there. And the Preds are trying to kind of retool here on the fly after making a lot of big moves in the offseason that haven't completely really panned out this year. But they've traded former first-round pick Philip Tomasino from the Nashville Predators to the Penguins for a fourth-round pick in 2027. That's pretty low value, to be honest. Tomasino's got parts of 3 NHL seasons. His rookie year, he looked pretty solid. Put up like 30 points. Everything was trending in the right direction. He was getting power play time. For a rookie, I thought he did pretty well. The next year, he basically started the year and then got sent down, split the season. His AHL numbers were fantastic. The NHL numbers were obviously down a bit, but not too bad. But it's common for that sophomore slump. So then last year, again, spent time in the AHL, but then he was a big part of the second half of the resurgence. The Predators had a really strong second half of the season. Ever since they made that canceled trip to Vegas at the Sphere for that U2 concert, they caught fire and they were on a massive win streak to get themselves in the playoff hunt. So obviously, at that point, Tomasino, kind of got his groove back a little bit. I mean, he was on pace. If he would have done what he did in the second half over a full year, like he was probably on about a 40-point pace. So, considering he's like 23 years old, great skater, good offensive instincts, but then after you get all these players like Tomasino, and then you get Evangelista, Parson, all these guys, younger players that were playing a role, helped this team have a really good second half last year. And then what do? They go out and they take some big-time free agent contracts to Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault. And I'm not saying that, in retrospect, it seemed like a good idea, right? These are fantastic players with great track record. We're talking Stanley Cup champions, individual award winners. Like, you don't have often a chance to get these guys. But those moves haven't panned out. And because of that, these other players are kind of pushed down to the depth chart, pushed down the lineup, not getting the power play time. So this year's numbers aren't great. Only appeared in 11 games. I think he's got hardly any points. It's a time for a fresh start. It is. You've already committed a lot of time and money to these other guys. So even if Stamkos and Marchessault aren't kind of producing at the levels you hoped and thought they would, you kind of have to continue to give them the opportunity. So it's kind of unfortunate for Nashville. They have not, under the last number of years under David Poile, have not really drafted the greatest in the first round. I mean, they just moved on Dante Fabro. I lost him through waivers. Short span in Columbus, but, he's got a couple of goals, looked good. Look what happened to Eeli Tolvanen. Again, guy who was kind of toiling in their system and not getting the opportunity, goes to Seattle, found his groove. He's been a consistent NHLer since. Will Tomasino find that groove in Pittsburgh? We know the Penguins are struggling. They need youth. They need speed. They need skill. They need to get faster. Well, Tomasino's always been a great skater. That's always been probably his greatest attribute. So he'll certainly add that to the lineup and get some speed in there. And when you're a great skater, you typically will get a prolonged look in the NHL at the very least, because that's one of the toughest skills to kind of master. So at the same time, obviously he might get a chance to play with some good players in Pittsburgh, and we'll see what he can do. I mean, obviously Kyle Dubas probably had an opportunity to see him a lot in the OHL during his a few years of junior. Of course, Dubas, between the time with the Maple Leafs, to GM of the Marlies, and being a GM in the OHL before that, knows a lot of Ontario kids very well, and a lot of opportunities to see up close. So he would have seen what he's done before. I assume he's got enough of a sample size that he's willing to give this kid a chance for a fourth-round pick, a former first-rounder who has that potential. Really take a flyer on him at this point in your season, and it looks like it's doomed. why not? Makes total sense for Pittsburgh. I just hate to see yet another former first rounder in Nashville make his way out of the organization and possibly find success somewhere else. At least I hope he does, because he's looked like a kid with a lot of potential for some time. Hopefully he finds it in Pittsburgh. But let me know your thoughts on this move down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. There'll be another video coming here in a few hours' time to recap the rest of today's NHL news and rumors from around the entire league. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.